Hey, I'm going to talk about how to deter people from copying your stuff if you produce a media piece like a graphic or a photograph. I'm Angela Langlotz, and I go live here to talk about trademarks and copyrights. And today I'm going to talk about watermarking your stuff. I know that some people think that watermarking looks unprofessional, but I have to tell you, sometimes people don't realize that you don't want your stuff copied if you don't watermark it. Now, if you stay until the end, I'm going to provide you with a cheat sheet of some resources that I dug up to help you with watermarking your creations. So stick around and I'll give you that at the end. You don't even have to opt in, I'll just give it to you. So I want to talk about watermarking. A watermark is a little, sometimes it's kind of transparent. You can see through it a little bit, but it's a way to identify your materials, and also you can say whether or not copying them is permitted. So some people will say, Circle C, copyright, all rights reserved, but I like to be a little bit more explicit. I will actually say copyright 2019 and my name, whatever I'm using to own that piece of intellectual property. And then I will say copying prohibited, like do not copy this, okay? So sometimes you have to be a little bit more explicit. Now, it's true that your stuff is protected by copyright at the moment it is created, but people are still copying other people's works. In fact, I just had a client of mine last week have his stuff copied by a politician and used in a campaign ad without paying. Now that's very naughty. And somebody asked, well, why doesn't your client watermark his stuff? And I said, well, the better question is, why are people stealing his stuff? When somebody burglarizes your house, you don't say, well, why did you have nice things that were worth stealing? You say, wow, that's pretty crappy that somebody would break into your house and steal your stuff. Okay, so don't blame the victim here. But watermarking is a good way to indicate to other people that you don't want them to use your stuff, because it will say, copyright, all rights reserved. And like I said, I like to get a little bit more explicit. I like to say copying prohibited. That's what I put at the bottom of my things. So what I would suggest is, if you can put the watermark on in different forms. You can put it at the bottom horizontally. You can put it up the side vertically like Getty Images does. You can have a little design as your watermark. Sometimes you don't really care about people copying it or sharing it. Maybe you just want credit. In that case, you might just put a logo watermark on it in order to identify it as yours. You might put the @ and whatever your Twitter handle or your Instagram handle is. So there are different ways of doing this depending on what your sensitivity is about having it copied or shared, right? So I just, if I don't want it copied or shared, I put copying prohibited on it, because people need to be apparently beaten over the head with a stick to respect your intellectual property rights. But you're a creator and you have the right to have those respected. So if you want the cheat sheet, drop an emoji in the comments. If I put a link in here, Facebook doesn't like it. So that's why I'm asking you to drop an emoji in the comments, so I can get that to you, because this gets shared less if I ask you to, if I put a link in. So that's how we're going to do that, because I do want this to be seen. So anyway, ask me any questions you like. I'm going to cover copyrights again this week. It was really popular last week, so I'm doing it again. So if you have questions about copyright, please message me on my Facebook page at facebook.com/trademarkdoctor. And if you want to connect with me on my webpage, it's TrademarkDoctor.net. So go ahead, drop an emoji if you want the cheat sheet, and I will see you tomorrow.